Hey guys, welcome to Members Club Pod. Did I do it right? Am I
Yeah, you did it
channeling my
great.
best Arynne Wexler? This is more like me. Hi guys, Charly and Arynne with you here. Another big episode on the way. Week number 3. We're excited to be here, and it's been a fun week, mainly because Arynne, it was yours truly's birthday.
Yes, it was. Ooh, happy birthday. You know what I thought about doing? I obviously thought about sending you a cake and candles to just arrive.
And you didn't? Why?
And I didn't. Well, it's a good thing I didn't yesterday because you were afflicted from your dinner the night before.
Okay, you know what? The worst way to start off your new year, it's like a new chapter, is to have like a vicious illness that plagues you all day long. I was puking all day. I don't know what I ate. I think it was a poke bowl. I am pointing the finger at the poke bowl. Seems to be the most likely culprit. But yeah, we were supposed to tape the episode yesterday, and I was like, Arynne, I don't think I can sit in front of my computer without like lurching over and possibly vomiting mid-episode. So let's push. So thank you.
I think that your year can only get better from here. That's what I think. So
if it doesn't, then we have some real problems. We've got real problems.
We've got real problems, and we have some crazy things to discuss this week. By the way, I'm really excited to talk about the continued Epstein fallout because if you guys listened to last week's episode, Charly and I vehemently disagreed on this. But before we get there, let's start with let's ease into this since Charly is recovering from yesterday. Last week was a major United States holiday, Amazon Prime Day. Charly, did you get anything good from Prime Day?
So here's what I love, because Arynne and I, obviously, like being two girls who shop a bunch as it is. We were like totally like, oh my gosh, we gotta do our Amazon Prime Day finds. And I was so about it because I had all of these things. I was like, this is cool. This is cool. How do I even balance like what I'm going to get with like balancing my budget? Well, it turns out I didn't have to make much of a decision, Arynne, because I forgot to hit buy on my cart. And I didn't end up getting really anything for Amazon Prime Day, except for 2 deodorants and 2 pairs of nipple covers. That is literally the extent of my Amazon Day shopping.
I would argue that most people are losers from the fact that you were able to purchase the nipple covers and nothing else. But we're all winners that you got your deodorant.
So that's it. My natural deodorant at that, which costs $26 normally, and I got it for like $19. And now looking back, I'm like, why didn't I stock up? Why didn't I get more? Why did I buy more nipple covers? I mean, these are questions I can't answer right now, but in my cart, I had a bunch of other things.
What did you not purchase that you wish you had?
So I wanted to buy Nutrafol, which is the hair vitamin, because it's super expensive monthly, and I've started using it. And I don't know. It was one of those things. I'm like, I'll do it later. Next thing you know, it was July 12th, and I didn't do it, and I missed out on my opportunity to save big. So Jeff Bezos, if you're listening out there, or Lauren Sanchez, I would love if Lauren was one of our listeners, or Jeff.
Highly
both.
likely. It's extremely likely they're both listening right now.
Probably. But if you guys are listening, if you want to just like, maybe there's a discount code you can throw my way, like one day only, I'll take it. Okay, what did you get?
You're going to be really upset when you hear the things I bought.
Well, you got 3 pairs of nipple covers.
I got 3 pairs of nipples. No, I don't cover my nipples, first of all. Second of all, I got, and this is such a good hack, and it's a friend of ours that we went to Casa Cipriani with.
Yes.
Who recommended that I make this purchase.
Oh.
I got luggage because luggage is very expensive. And there's actually a time last year where I was like in the back of a plane and some really sad, I just got the warning from my AirPod that it might die. Oh no. I was like, it made that little sound. So we'll see what happens. But I saw a Rimowa suitcase in the very back of coach, and I thought that is Joe Biden's economy, So yeah. But I don't sit that far in the back of a plane anymore. So I don't.
Well, thank goodness.
I don't know. I think it's probably.
Are you carrying Rimowa luggage?
No, but I got Samsonite tried and true. It was really heavily discounted. And I also got
There's obviously a Dumb and Dumber joke there with the Samsonite, but.
No, I don't know the joke.
What? You've seen Dumb and Dumber, right?
I actually never. I saw it when I was a kid. I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
Okay, everybody,
I know.
Get in her DMs and yell at her. You have not. Are you out? That is,
Of
I'm
all the
that
things I'm going to say today, that might be the worst. Just wait till we get to Epstein,
that is
though.
the
Just
funniest
wait.
movie of all time. Anyways, he's trying to track down this woman. Her name is Mary Swanson, and he can't. Jim Carrey's character. He can't remember Lloyd. He can't remember what her name is. So he's like Swanson, Samson. Then he sees her luggage that he's trying to get back to her. Samsonite. I was way off. Meanwhile, like it's just the name of the luggage, but like
I
one
get it.
gem of a line in a whole gem of a movie.
Swanson?
Maybe it's on the briefcase. Look on the...
Oh, yeah, it's right here. Samsonite. I was way off.
But I got luggage, and then I got, if you're familiar with the Frame TV, which is very expensive, there's a dupe of it, and that dupe was on sale. But now I have to find someone willing to hang, like capable of hanging, a very, very, very large TV, because I got a big version of this, and that could tear down a wall in an apartment. So I have to be very careful about putting it up. But I say those are the two big purchases. So highly recommend. Oh, and third, I got the Dyson V8 also on sale.
Oh, I have the Dyson V8. I already had that.
Well,
I got that
it
on
sale.
Black Friday sale, so didn't pay full price either. So I'm happy.
So wonderful.
Okay.
There you go.
I love that for both of us, especially you. I mean, you really hit it big. I did not.
Thank you. See, that's true friendship. Can everyone just take a moment to realize that Charly was still happy for me, even though
happy for you.
She totally failed her Amazon Prime Day, and
Well, I feel like this is a good segue into what is not at all a friendship, but rather a huge rivalry in the WNBA. Now, obviously, everybody, there's been like crazy drama between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark since the beginnings of their rookie seasons, which was last season. It has been made very clear even since, because let's be honest, Caitlin Clark doesn't care about Angel Reese. Like, she just doesn't. She's very concerned with like playing her game. She's got like a great boyfriend. She seems like she's got her life together. Angel Reese has always been like super petty towards Caitlin Clark. And even recently, RG3, who I'm not sure of like how he knows the people that Angel Reese surrounds herself with, but he apparently was chatting with them and found out, and it was able to confirm that she does not like Caitlin Clark. Like, she hates Caitlin Clark. So there's one thing, which it's like, leave it alone. Like, this, I mean, really, it sounds cheesy saying it, but the WNBA should be more of a sisterhood. Like, if one person can lift up the entire league, everybody benefits. Not how Angel Reese sees it. But, on top of all of that, we can probably definitively say Caitlin Clark is the better player. I mean, she was the WNBA Player of the Year last year. She's incredible, setting all types of records. But meanwhile, while DEI it's gone away in a lot of senses, it still is very much prevalent in certain areas. And I would say, including the sports world, they have not completely done away with it. And now we're finding out that the cover of NBA 2K26 is featuring Angel Reese as one of their cover stars, which already is weird. But they have like Carmelo Anthony, who's like this legendary Hall of Famer. They've got SGA, who plays for the NBA championship team Thunder. So those two make complete sense. But then they decide, first of all, I don't know which man is going to be like, I want to buy the WNBA edition of NBA 2K26. Like, that's the one I want to put on my shelf when my friends come over and we're playing video games. But for whatever reason, they decided to make a WNBA edition, and then decided that Angel Reese should be on the cover over Caitlin Clark, which does not make sense. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the poster child of the WNBA. So this is like DEI on top of DEI.
Yeah. I mean, it's reverse racism, which is just racism. But it's not just that. It's like they hate her because she's white, because she's straight, and because she's excellent. And we know, I mean, I've said this many times on social media, but the WNBA is welfare for tall lesbians, right? It's a very toxic place. And you mentioned in that introduction about what's going on that this should be a place where it's feminism, women uplifting women. Women sabotage other women. There are studies on this. We know that a female hairdresser will recommend that a client cut her hair shorter. I've done videos on this because women actively try to sabotage each other. I think even when you're a lesbian, you're still competing for that male attention, even when you're a lesbian. And that's what's happening in the WNBA. Men, on the other hand, they will often, unless they're very insecure and only want to surround themselves with people who make them feel better about themselves, which certainly happens, and we know people who do this, but overall, men want to be friends and surround themselves with men who are more successful, have the hot wife, have, like the men they aspire to be, the guys who work out at the gym. I have a bunch of guy friends that met here in Miami because they were at the gym and all just kind of grouped together to make themselves better, right? Women do the opposite. So that's just on the WNBA, how they're all so catty towards her. But this goes beyond that, because you'd have to imagine that whoever chose this cover, do you know who makes this decision? Because that's not actually the women of the WNBA.
No, I think it's I mean, NBA 2K has, it's not, I mean, it's, I don't know if they have allies within the NBA who also they work closely with, or they're just like part of on like a video game company. I have no idea. But, I think that
it could be men choosing this cover. That's the point. Like, it's not necessarily women.
Oh, 100.
It's probably male executives.
I think it was men probably choosing this cover. 100%. Yeah, I mean.
So then why did the men do this? Because because they don't want to make money, because they have a once-in-a-generation talent with Caitlin Clark, and they've decided that sucks. Like, we don't want to celebrate this. This is crazy.
Well, I think they probably imagined. I mean, I think if they were smart, they would be like, of course we put Caitlin Clark on the cover. She is the reason the WNBA is having any type of success right now. But I think they probably, in their minds, are like, what kind of reception will there be if we put Caitlin Clark on the cover rather than Angel Reese? Instead, and thinking, it's probably better to get some type of pullback or whatnot from having Angel Reese on the cover rather than Caitlin Clark. They just wanted to take the safe route because they knew what we all know.
This is just like lowering standards for SAT scores for colleges, where when you do this, it causes more racism towards or more discrimination towards any kind of group, whether it's lower, engineering schools will often lower standards for women to accept more women, to be more balanced, right? And we know they do this with different minority groups, not all minority groups, but some of them. And Angel Reese obviously should not be on the cover. And this is DEI.
This is DEI at its finest. I mean, but my point I still would like to make is, this is NBA 2K26. Why is there a WNBA edition of NBA 2K26? Because seriously, what athletic man? This is the guys that are playing NBA. It's not like the theater kids. These are like the wannabe ballers or like the already ballers that are playing this video game. Which guy is like, over SGA, who is one of the greatest players in the league. He had an insane season. His team just won the NBA championship. We have Carmelo Anthony, legendary Hall of Famer, who's going to be like, I want the Angel Reese edition up. That is not going to happen. This was purely one of those just like all for show type of moves that the NBA 2K video game made in general. Like, it's not necessary. There doesn't always need to be like a female counterpart to something that is male dominated and should remain male dominated. But on top of that, putting Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark, it's obvious the reasons that they did that for. And so for me, this is literally, it's DEI on top of DEI, and I'm not here for it.
It's compounding DEI is what it is.
Compounding DEI.
That's literally what it is. The only way that putting a woman on this cover would make sense is if it were Sophie Cunningham, because she's smoking hot. And that would make sense.
It wouldn't make sense, though. It would not. It doesn't make sense to put a woman on this cover regardless. There should not be a woman on the cover of NBA 2K26. I don't care what year we're in. I don't care if we have a female president at that point in time. There should never be a woman on the cover of NBA 2K. Never.
You heard it here, folks.
And that's on that.
Amazing.
My fake IFB is falling out of my ear.
You guys, I wish we were recording when you did this, but before we started recording, Charly just took regular tape and just stuck it to the back. By the way, that's what I should have done because I'm getting little alerts because I don't use these ever. I always use wired, but I can't use wired right now because I have too much stuff plugged into my computer.
Yeah.
So I found these.
Are you going to take my hack, though, from now on?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's so good. I'm going to start taping things to my back for this recording. The things we do for you, you wouldn't even understand.
You guys wouldn't get it.
Speaking of things I don't understand is the absolute drama of State Department employees that are crying for being cut. Did you see this nonsense?
Oh my gosh. Wait, the best part about it isn't that, listen, you lose your job after a long time. You're going to be upset. I mean, it's obvious. But the best part about it was there were people cheering outside when people were coming out bawling about having lost their jobs after who knows how long of tenure.
Decades.
There were people literally clapping and cheering for these people that were just so distraught, which I find to be, it's hilarious. That is hilarious to me and my favorite part of this whole story in general.
What I think is so obnoxious, obviously, about all these employees who are acting afflicted by this is they're just discovering what all normal people have always dealt with who don't live on a government salary paid for by your taxpayers, right? Paid for by us. You're welcome, right?
We could have more money to spend on Amazon Prime Day now because we don't have to pay the salaries of these, incompetent, unnecessary government workers.
We wouldn't even have to wait for the Amazon Prime Day deals.
No,
we could just pay for it full price.
I would love to pay full price.
The jokes that people will make about the fact that I'm Jewish paying at a discount, I can't. Oh yeah, we already hear it. We get it, Nick Fuentes, okay? Because he's obviously watching this. No, by the way, he used to reply to my tweets and I got him to stop. But anyways, they're discovering what regular people deal with, which is there's no guarantee unless you're, I also think tenured professors is a ridiculous concept too, but when you're a regular person working a job, you have to perform and you might get laid off for all kinds of reasons. Maybe it's because your performance isn't good. Maybe cuts need to be made because the company isn't doing well. I used to work on a trading floor where they would cull the bottom 10% of people no matter what, even if the company is doing well that year, even if everyone's making money, that bottom 10%, just for the competitive nature of it, and so everyone's always doing their best, they would cut the bottom 10%. And so this idea that they are
guaranteed
to keeping their job is ridiculous. And so you know what I call 1,300 State Department workers who have been laid off?
What?
A good start.
A great start. And in fact, this actually made me laugh because, to some people say, well, how do you know that these government workers aren't necessary? How do you know that the work that they're doing isn't necessary to helping our government run efficiently? Well, one of the groups of people that were let go were those tasked with oversight of the war in Afghanistan, which, Arynne, ended in August of 2021. So not sure they need to be kept around. Not sure what they've been doing all these. We should conjecture what has that office that was, tasked with overseeing the war in Afghanistan, what have they been doing since 2021?
That's a very good question. I would love people in the comments to let us know. What are they doing? I would guess that some of it is they're probably organizing transgender theater for midgets in Africa.
Gay pride events for sure. Although this year they were disappointed because a lot of their initiatives didn't get put into action.
Yes. Also, if they were overseeing the withdrawal from Afghanistan, you mean
you guys failed. So you should have been let go a while ago. I'm just laughing at the point of thank you for being worthless. Even when your job mattered, thank you for being worthless and thank you for your continued worthlessness. That's what, not thank you for your time here. Thank you for your worthlessness. We're saying goodbye now.
Coffee shops are so popular now. There is plenty of opportunity for these people to put their master's degrees in international conspiring against America and, gender studies and like putting that to good use, I would argue. So in Florida, we obviously don't want liberals coming here, but I think people are mistaken. I think we allow certain visas the way America does for certain skill sets,
Yes.
or the way we did before Biden and now we're doing again. And I think we should be building a wall around Florida, because I don't want sorry, Charlie, sorry to my family in New York, when Zoran Mamdani inevitably becomes mayor, because
No,
Curtis Lewa.
hold on. Can we not say
Cuomo.
inevitably yet? Because I'm still holding on to hope. Did you just see that Zoran Mandami, there was it's called a Partnership for NYC. It's some type of organization. What they do is they put like major power players in New York in touch with, potential government candidates, all that. Zoran Mandami just did one this past couple of days. Nobody showed up. Like all of Jamie Dimon, nope, nobody was there, because none of them want to see him get into office. But it was a huge slap in the face, because usually I think there's kind of the idea of play nice, right? Even if you're not going to support, it's you represent New York City. You're there for more of show than anything else. Oh no, they didn't even want to be there for show. I mean, they were just like, this is not something we will ever even put our pretend support behind. So I'm just saying there's still time left. Cuomo, though, needs to just get the hell away. He's pissing me off.
Did you see the video he posted on Threads with absolutely no caption, where it's just him jump-starting someone's car in Harlem and them shaking hands like man of the people?
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And then he wanted to do, what was it called? There was, he wanted to put something into place that by a given month that the people that weren't looking like they were going to win should just drop out to give others a better chance. And I'm like, no, you're the one that needs to go away. Did you not just see what happened to you? You got destroyed in the primary. You're the one that needs to go away.
I really resent how little effort he's putting into his campaign while stealing votes. I even came up with a phrase for him that I blasted on social media a couple months ago, because I was trying to help him win the primary. And as someone who I think he has blood on his hands, I think he has tens of thousands of elderly who died because of him. He has blood on his hands. He is also responsible for higher rates of depression, people going out of business. He's responsible for so many bad things for many years in New York. And I still came out to defend him, because I'm not pro. Someone asked me recently, are you pro Adams or pro Cuomo? And I said, no, I'm anti Mamdani.
That's the category I would say most of us are in at this point in time.
But you know what? I gave him a phrase. I said, just for today, for voting, everyone can be Cuomo-sexual, okay? Like, it's not.
Ooh.
Yeah. Except I'm done with that. He misused.
I mean, Cuomo-sexual also fits along with his brother. I mean, he's.
I know. I'm so Cuomo-sexual for Chris. Let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. I don't care that he pretended to be in his basement during COVID. That great reveal when he comes out of the basement in his Hamptons mega mansion, where he had actually been seen going to the market like 2 days prior. I don't care. Hot is hot. Cuomo-sexual.
Hot is hot. We cannot discriminate against hot is hot.
But you know what I would say is, inshallah, I said this on the phone to Charlie recently. I said, inshallah, Zoran Mamdani will never be mayor of New York City. And Charlie, what did you say back to me when I said, inshallah?
I was like, it is inshallah. You're like, well, I've been studying Arabic, so.
I took Arabic for 4 years in college.
Isn't that a fun fact about Arynne? That she took Arabic for 4 years. I remember that was one of the first things I learned about you. And I was like, huh?
I love sharing this fact with people.
I took Spanish, but that doesn't have the same, it just does not have the same.
Like, I could get us out of a bad situation kind of a vibe.
I could get us around in New York City in a taxi cab.
No, I can get us around in New York City.
I could too, okay. Fine. We both can get us around in taxi cab.
No, you could get us into the bodega. But that is a fun fact about me that doesn't help me dissuade people from thinking that I'm Mossad, because I'm not Mossad, but took Arabic for 4 years. But yes, so thank you, Charlie. It was such a like white girl splaining, right? It's actually, she said it, guys, with 100% sincerity. It's actually, inshallah.
You're like, no.
Oh, so good, so good. But yeah, no, I really do want to talk about Epstein for a little bit, because right before we got on, and well, we could go backwards, but where we are is we're shooting this on Wednesday, July 16th. It'll be out Thursday the 17th, and you may or may not be you may or may not be listening to this. If you're listening to this, it will be after that time. Trump,
if you're listening to this, you're still alive.
You're still alive. Trump sent a truth. I was going to say sent a truth. He truthed out, and it's kind of a long truth, but I do think it's important. And it really goes into the debate that you and I had last week, and that has been going on online, especially over, I mean, we don't have enough time to even go into everything that happened at the Turning Point event this last weekend, but I do just want to talk about generally what's happening in the sphere about Epstein and not releasing the list. So Trump wrote, "The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems were." So he goes on about the Dems, right? And then I'm going to skip over this because it's a lot. And then he writes, "Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit. Hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, and all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again."
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how I feel, right? I said this on the show last week. I have been posting about this. I've written numerous articles on Substack. I have another one that will be coming out. I'll probably be done with it tomorrow. So this is how I feel about it. But I know, Charly, you don't feel the same way.
Well, I don't, just because I think now that we know that we're not going to have access to this list, this black book, whatever we want to call it, right? I don't know what form it took. I don't know exactly what information it included, the tens of thousands of hours worth of video. We knew that it existed. Pam Bondi spoke about it, said straight up it was on her desk. Kash Patel was saying this is in the hands of the FBI. I mean, for forever, this is the narrative we've been given, right? And we know that the people on this list, while not everybody may be guilty, some may be just by association, but we have pretty good knowledge that there are at least like a good amount of P files on this list, black book, whatever you may have. And I think just seeing the fallout also now having transpired after the fact, like Dan Bongino being really upset that there has been this potentially massive cover up. Now, you have the idea that it either needs to be Pam Bondi remaining in Trump's cabinet or Dan Bongino. I mean, I think seeing that and hearing the intense emotion coming from Bongino, because he's somebody that I completely respect. I've only known him to be entirely credible and somebody that like really is an America First guy. I don't know so much about Pam Bondi, but I feel like when Dan Bongino comes out and raises hell about something like this, it means we all should be listening. And I do think that there's something potentially very sketchy going on. And I do think that Pam Bondi has a good idea of what that could be. Or if it's not something sketchy, then maybe just from the beginning, she was completely overpromising and then, of course, underdelivered. So whatever it might be, they made this whole big spectacle. She said, matter of fact, it's on my desk. We're going through it. The whole administration had said, you will have access to this information, Trump included. And then suddenly there's no list. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. I feel like for an administration that promised complete transparency, this just is not a good look. And I think that Dan Bongino, for example, his hands are tied because while he's someone who has been able to totally speak his mind for such a long time, and that's kind of what he's since built his brand on, right? That's why he was so successful in the podcasting world, because he was just somebody that always said it exactly like it was. And now it feels like his hands are tied and almost like his mouth has been zipped shut, being a part of this administration in a sense. And he can't really say exactly what's on his mind, which is why it's either he stays or Pam Bondi stays. And if she stays, then he needs to go. So, I mean, you can't ignore that. Why would he be so emotional about something that ultimately doesn't matter if it didn't?
I think a lot of the drama, to what you're pointing out, a lot of it was spun up by influencers, by people in the space who are not getting this information necessarily directly from Bongino. Do I think it's possible it was leaked because he was upset? Of course. But is that his style? You would know better. But a lot of this anger feels spun up by the influencer class when the average American really doesn't care to this degree. Like, I agree. I understand what you're saying, but I think it is a lesser sin to have exaggerated what they thought they were going to be able to share with us, and then to realize that in order to release this information, it would cause so much chaos that that's not actually in the best interest of our country. And it's better to have people be angry about what they promised before than to actually come out with this information. Because here's something that I will go against the grain of a lot of people, and I know you don't agree with this, but I don't think we are entitled to know everything. And actually, Scott Adams had a really good
No. I agree with you. I don't think why would we be entitled to, we wouldn't be able to operate as a country if we were entitled to know everything. There's a lot of things that need to be kept secret for national security purposes and even more purposes beyond that. No, I do not believe we're entitled to everything. I just think when you go just so far above and beyond to say we have the influencer event, like why do the influencer event was the stupidest thing in the world. I thought it was stupid then. I think it's stupid now. They just shouldn't have done that.
There are two things here. I don't really want to dwell on that, but we know from people, I know a lot of people who were there who did not break the embargo they were under, who did not hold up the binders for the photographers.
But there's some that did.
But there are some that did because they were clout chasing and decided that they had to show off a fake scoop, whereas over half of them were never in those photos. Did you see ALX doing it? Did you see Colin Rugg doing it? Was Isabel Brown or Ellie? None of them did it because they understood what they were instructed to not do. Okay, so that's on that. Okay, I see your point. I get what you're saying about the overpromising. Here's what I think they've assessed. That clearly, especially with this response, and I actually think some of it was the response to everything with Iran in the week leading up to the B-2 bombs, they saw that there's very little nuance in the space and that people actually can't handle information like an adult. Because I think if people came to us and to many of our listeners and they said, listen, we have a lot of information here. We have stuff. It would be catastrophic to the world and not truly in our best interests to release this, not because we want people off the hook, but because we have too many things to actually make sure happen in our country. We are
say that.
What's that?
Then they should say that.
But I think they've assessed that people cannot handle the truth, because if they admit that they have certain information, but that information is incomplete, right? Like we know people, like just like Trump's on the list, like we know people are associated with this. It would take a decade to go through this information. They know that the mob would say, this angry mob right now would say, then give us the information and we'll parse through it because we deserve to know. And they've realized that saying that they have anything will make people demand it.
I get it. But like, I also, obviously, there are a lot of names on that list that are going to make people angry. I can't imagine. I mean, I honestly can't imagine. We already have like a little bit of an idea of who potentially could be on that list. They knew this before. Why even like make it a thing? It probably just could have faded into oblivion if they wouldn't have brought it up and made this big grandiose like spectacle surrounding it for such a long time. It could have just faded away. Even like Diddy, like no one's even talking about Diddy anymore. You know what I mean?
It shows you that it's very hard to get justice, and all you get is millions in Diddy's case, what would be billions in the Epstein case. It's millions of dollars. It's a giant spectacle. For what? Right? For like, he wasn't convicted of those. He was convicted of other crimes that were like basically like the racketeering and stuff like that, you know, but he wasn't convicted of assaults, of like that was not the conviction. And so that, I think they know that that's what happened with, that's what would happen with Epstein. I do want to read something. This was a comment in response to my Substack that I thought was really well written, and I agree completely with the sentiment. This woman wrote, "You've identified something we pretend not to see. The people demanding transparency aren't asking for justice. They're asking for content. They want the spectacle, not the convictions. What strikes me is how we've convinced ourselves that mob justice and actual justice are the same thing. They are not. One feeds our need for immediate satisfaction. The other requires patience we don't have. The uncomfortable truth, most of us would rather have something to be angry about than something that actually works."
No, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I 1000% agree with it. I just think there shouldn't have been just the way it was handled. Then we'll just blame it on, then we could potentially just blame it on how it was handled, which was a massive failure.
I agree with that.
I don't know what it means as far as like, is somebody going to end up leaving? the White House? Is Dan Bongino leaving? Is Pam Bondi leaving? I don't know.
No, but they aren't.
Okay.
Unless Bongino leaves but I don't think he will because Dan Bongino is a patriot and he is serving his country. And so if he were as frustrated as the rumor mill was saying he was over the last week, I would venture a guess that Trump had a conversation with him and said, I can't afford to lose you right now.
Calmed him down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he didn't show up to work at one point last week. He took a few days off. Maybe, sometimes it's good. Just remove yourself from the situation, reflect on it. I mean, I'm sure conversations to your point were had. And
that's what bothers me. Like to the point of that excerpt I just read, that response, these influencers who supposedly care about Trump's success and our country's success, calling for a replacement of Pam Bondi is ridiculous. Trump saying he likes the job she's doing. She's getting stuff done for him. The last thing Trump needs is a spectacle. These people want a head on a spike. That's what they want. And Trump is saying, no, I actually want to get things done. And the same people who were saying get rid of Pam Bondi, they were saying, we should get Matt Gaetz. As if the first time they tried to confirm him wasn't enough proof that he is unconfirmable for that position, for frankly many other positions. So it's just... It's people want a spectacle, but I know we're running out of time. We have 2 minutes before we have to hop off. And so I would like to talk about something.
A spectacle in the toy world.
A spectacle in the toy world, which is a type 1 diabetes Barbie doll. Charly, did you see this?
I saw it. And there's a little part of me. Now, this is the part that it's the smaller part that says, okay, there are probably a few little girls out there who are like, I identify with this and it makes me happy to know that Barbie understands me. I can have a little bit of compassion, but the larger part of me is like this is how we're headed towards a recession, right? There's a desperation to sell more, right? They're like, what can we do to convince people that they need this in their household? I mean, type 1 diabetes Barbie, come on. Why can't just a regular Barbie, instead of having the spectacle of having the, the diabetes tools that come along, as little accessories, why can't just regular old Barbie who presents like a normal person also have type 1 diabetes? Because the people that I know in the world that have diabetes, they're not like, hey, guess what? Hey, guys, I'm type 1 diabetes Kim. You know what I mean? They're not presenting like that. They're just like, hey, I'm Kim.
I wonder why they didn't do type 2. Do you think it's because they blame type 2 people more than type 1? Because it's you brought it on yourself because you had so much sugar,
your own fault.
You fat little pig. You brought type 2 on, but type 1 was more genetic or you couldn't help it. So we're only going to do type 1, right?
Yeah, it wasn't just diabetes Barbie, it's type 1 diabetes. That actually is a really good point.
It's so specific. Type 1 diabetes Barbie. I'm not just diabetic Barbie. But to me, it's I think it's funny you find it to be a recession indicator. I just think it's the fall of Rome, where we've just resigned ourselves to being a society where diabetes cripples our healthcare system, cripples our population, because and this is where MAHA comes in, right? Where's the MAHA movement? I don't want to be anti people with diabetes. I think a lot of people, you really can't help it. It's also the house you grew up in. Some of it's possibly genetic, but diabetes is should not be as prevalent as it is in America. It's definitely also what leads to a lot of other causes, a lot of other health issues. They may as well make a Barbie that's the Walmart person on a scooter. That's what they're doing. They're saying this is the average person in America.
Disabled Barbie.
You know what I want? Disabled Barbie. You know what I want? I want overweight Barbie on a treadmill at the gym working the weight off. That's what I want.
That won't fit into a box, Arynne. That's the problem, is it won't fit into the small Barbie box. I see the vision.
That's my vision.
Or maybe Barbie's dream home shouldn't have had an elevator, maybe only stairs in the updated models. So they're forced to exercise. There's no elevator here. You have to if you want to reach the top floor, if you want to go see Ken, you need to walk the damn stairs.
They should have Barbie with weighted wristbands on her and on her ankles.
Or a weighted vest.
A weighted vest? Barbie with a weighted vest.
CrossFit Barbie.
Yes. No, I want to see, because I like when I'm at the gym and I see someone who's clearly trying to work off the weight. And I really kudos to them, because that is a difficult journey. And I think that's the most impressive person at the gym. The most impressive person at the gym is the person who's trying to improve and they don't see the results yet. That's a really hard thing to stick through. So let's maybe champion that. We might lose everyone who's diabetic who's listening to this, which is by statistics,
we won't.
like 60% of people who listen.
No, we won't. I think a lot of diabetes people probably agree with what I said of they don't need to have a Barbie that's type 1 diabetes Barbie. They could just get the regular Barbie who they could say has diabetes because guess what? People with diabetes, they're just normal people. We don't need to like put them on this pedestal and highlight the, you know, unfortunate conditions that they're living with health-wise. That's what I have to say.
Okay, so to our friends with type 1, but not type 2 diabetes, because Barbie doesn't
we don't care
about
you.
you.
Yeah.
We don't care about type 2. We only care about type 1 here. We see you as equals, which is why we think you don't need your own Barbie doll.
Facts. I think this was a great way to end the episode.
Wonderful. I wonder if Barbie would make they would only need to make one Barbie. We look the same. Our hair is exactly the same right now.
And everyone, I just want you to know my dewy look was purposeful. It's like a makeup that I'm wearing that like looks really good in real life, but I look greasy as hell right now. But it's not. It's we call this dewy. So
I'm
for all
also
the men
into
out
the dewy
there,
look. I put a little powder on because I looked a little too dewy, but I'll match you. We'll reverse it. And this is why you should watch us on YouTube and subscribe if you're listening on any of the like audio podcasts. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube as well.
Perfect.
Thank you all. We're excited for next week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.